Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, welcoming you to the final episode of Out of the Park Baseball 21 ever. It feels kind of weird to say that. I'm glad that you've joined me on these journeys. We've played more than 80 episodes of Out of the Park Baseball 21. But yeah, this is going to be the last episode, and I'm probably going to delete OOTP 21 as soon as we finish, because I'm going to go ahead and get ready for OTP 22 next Friday. So I'm really excited about that. And I hope you are too. This particular series just gets ported right over. I'm just going to import it directly from 21 into 22. And that'll be that. So this is going to be the last episode also with the Boston Red Sox. And I want to at least take a quick look and see who our next team might well end up being. If we look at teams, I still have not given the Red Sox a winning record, but I've given them 2 championships, so I'll take that. The Tigers remain the lone team that doesn't have a championship. On the other hand, we've already played as them when we played as the Keokuk Westerns into the Detroit Wolverines. So that means I basically take my pick between the 1 championship teams for now. And I'll tell you what, friends, if after this next team's playthrough, the Tigers still haven't won a world championship, I'll take the Tigers over again. And I think that'll be interesting. I'm leaning Brooklyn, to be honest with you, but we will see what happens. And it'll also partially depend on how people do this particular offseason. But this is going to be the last season with the Red Sox. I'm actually quite pleased with what we've accomplished. I find it hilarious that the worst team in Major League history, purely by record, also has the most championships. No, it doesn't. Actually, the Phillies do. But they are tied for second with the Browns and the Pirates, which is definitely a re-envisioning of baseball history, given that the St. Louis Browns won 0 Major League championships in their existence, which is good times. It's good times. I would like to win a 3rd championship this season if we can manage it, just to prove that we're better than the Boston Braves. But I mean, we're not. Although, fair play to them, part of the reason they look better than I do is because they've been around longer. So, one of the things I'm going to do at the end of this episode, somebody, I want to say Tom Lehman, but maybe not. By the way, Tom Lehman, please let me know if you're the same guy that designed Race for the Galaxy. You probably aren't. It's probably just a coincidence, but I've always been curious about that. Race for the Galaxy will definitely be on the channel again at some point for Tabletop Simulator. But I'm just curious right now if you are the same guy. And if you don't admit it, like in the comments or whatever, you can just message me or something. It'll be great. Anyway, so one of the things I'm going to do per Tom's recommendations, we're just going to take a look at the leaderboards at the end and see how we've changed Major League history up to this point. So that'll be a lot of interesting fun. So, last season, I believe we won another world championship. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I genuinely don't remember, and because the new league year hasn't started, this isn't going to tell me. Let me sim 1 day. That should be enough. I do need to activate Ray Collins. You're right. Is that now enough to remind me? This is terrible, right? It still doesn't say, because I won't do it till the new league year. It'll be in my email if I won the... I'm pretty sure I did, though. No, the Phillies won. Stupid Phillies. Oh, well. Which means the Phillies are now the best team in Major League history because they've won their 8th title. It be like that sometimes. Oh, I have played as Brooklyn. I got fired. I don't know if I like that. I might have to pick another team just to spite them. You don't deserve my enlightened leadership, Brooklyn. You fired me. You're the only team that ever fired me. I quit all the other teams. You can't fire me, I quit. Right. So, how do we improve our team's chances of winning a World Series this year? Sam Rice had an excellent season. Maybe not quite as good as the previous one, but still very, very strong. Honestly, a full season of Stuffy McInnis is probably the missing ingredient that we needed. Hey, he's even kind of a hometown guy from Gloucester, Mass. I don't actually know how this is pronounced. If you're from the Boston area, please tell me if that's pronounced like Gloucester or whatever. Like, the British city is Gloucester. Because you always leave out the CE. But at least sometimes you do. Like, Winchester is still Winchester. It's like Winster. But anyway, if you're from Massachusetts, please tell me how they pronounce that city. But I think just a full season of Stuffy McInnis is going to be a pretty big help to us. I do feel a little bit sad about giving up on Vic Sayer, but we'd given him so many chances, and he just consistently underperformed. Heine Zimmerman turned in another very fine season. Jack Smith did well. Led the league in triples. That's fun. Charlie Deal has really stabilized third base, which was a real problem area for us in the past. I think he's done excellently at the position. Everett Scott continues to be a mediocre hitter, but an excellent fielder, which, again, gives him lots of value. Mike Minoski finally got his chance to start, and he proved that he deserved it. He did exceptionally well, and I'm really excited to see how he'll develop over time. But yeah, I think trading Zach Wheat was a desperately necessary thing that we needed to do. Ray Schalk really needs to hit around league average in order to be a great catcher. Part of his issue this season was just he got hurt. Pardon me. He wants to be at the top of the lineup. I don't know that I necessarily give him that, but we'll talk about it. And everyone else was mostly fine. Everyone else was mostly fine. Pitching-wise, Sakat was the ace of the staff for probably the first time. Shocker had another great season. Overall, was kind of clutch in the playoffs, but he's actually starting to slip a lot. And then George Yule came in and pitched 14 excellent starts. He's only going to get better. I'm pretty excited about him. Now, the $1 million question is going to be... Actually, I guess it would properly be the $4,125 question is, what do we do about overall? Do we keep him and just diminish his role? Like, demote him to, like, the fifth starter? Because if we look at his scouting... He's losing life from his fastball, which wasn't that hard to begin with. And he's 38 years old, right? He's 38. He's definitely seen his better days. I say fully cognizant of the fact that I myself am 38 at this time. But I'm not a professional athlete. I don't even play one on TV. I don't feel obligated to trade him, and I don't think we'd get very much for him if we did trade him. So the short-term solution is probably going to be push him to the back of the line until and unless we don't need him anymore. Because we have another starter who's as good, if not better. And is Ray Collins that starter? Probably. Like, Ray Collins will probably get a rotation spot this year. But we're going to see what happens. I'm not going to commit to anything until I see how our draft turns out. and what we can acquire there. Places we can improve at, pretty much anywhere, really. I would say the only players whose spots are untouchable are probably Sam Rice, Jack Smith, Minoski, Zimmerman, and probably McInnes. I wouldn't say no to an upgrade at third or shortstop. Why did I say it that way? Shortstop? Third base or shortstop, unless they're really obviously big upgrades. And that upgrade might already be in the house in one Frank Ellerbee, who had a pretty phenomenal year. He's not rated as highly as Deal, mostly because he's got a bit more power, and Deal is definitely the better glove man. So we'll see. I certainly don't feel obligated to rush anybody to the majors. Alright, let's do this thing. Let's see how many awards we get. I didn't think about coaches. Henry Myers, I'm promoting you to AAA hitting coach. Oh no, whoops, I screwed up. Sorry, Halpin, you should be AAA hitting coach. Myers, you should be AA hitting coach. He's probably like, oh. And then Griffin gets promoted to Fort Worth. And then we'll hire ourselves a new hitting coach. Tommy McCarthy, what an idea. Do it. Okay. Any gold gloves this year? We got some. Upshaw got one, McInnes got one, Deal and Scott got one, and Smith got one. Lots of defense all around. I think that's Schalk's first, isn't it? It should. No, he's like a 5-time Cy Young winner, as he should be. But I was actually surprised that he didn't have more than that. Stuffy's already won a bunch of them. Charlie Deal's third. And finally, Everett Scott is recognized as the shortstop he always should have been. Or the shortstop, if you will. God. Very nice. Very nice. No reliever of the year for me. Not that I care. Oh, I got another Manager of the Year award. Very nice. Silver Sluggers. Just Jack Smith this season. That's fair. Freaking Ty Cobb. And then the rest of that doesn't actually matter. I'm not going to get an MVP. I'm not even that interested in who does. Or Cy Young. None of our players were quite that good. I think that's probably what sunk us most, is we just didn't have that MVP level player to carry us over to the next level. Bro, I'm never going to trade for a reliever in the dead ball era. Although the dead ball era will be over in the not too distant future. In fact, I just saw that Cy Williams hit 20 home runs this season. Right? Yeah, it's starting already. Up, here we go. Babe Ruth, 26. It's happening, friends. The dead ball era is starting to fade away. Because if we now look at the home run leaderboards, it's going to start being littered with players who just played this year. Or this past year, rather. Yep. Ruth and Williams. Zach Wheat had 20 back in 1913. He was briefly the home run leader. Jack Fournier. And this is just going to get more and more slanted toward the recent players. So there we go. Are we going to be doing this again where you're going to offer me every garbage in reliever? I know they're working on a trade eye for OOTP 22. I hope they really start taking that into account that relief pitchers just aren't that important before like the 1950s and 60s. Like most teams that have one pitcher they called a fireman, whose job was to put out anything or if the starter got hurt or whatever. Bullpens were pretty tiny until like the 70s especially, when guys like Bruce Sutter popularized the idea that you had one, that your relievers only pitched one inning, and they would always pitch the ninth inning because of saves. But yeah, like it's kind of silly that they would even consider offering something like that. There's just no value in trading for a reliever unless they're either like a top tier mega reliever or just somebody that or just, you're that desperate for great relieving. All right, who we got in the Hall of Fame? I mean, I'll vote for Jesse Burkett. I don't think it's going to matter, though. I think he misses the Hall of Fame this time around. He's only at 42% in his 8th year. I don't like his chances. George Haddock. I get why he's popular, and it's because he has a superficially good-looking record. I mean, we have some amazing starting pitchers in the Hall of Fame. I don't think I can vote for him. If he gets in, he gets in. I'm not going to cry about it, but I don't think he's that good. Wee Willie Clark, maybe. He's pretty... Jimmy Collins, I think I would probably vote for. And compared to other third basemen, he's not that great, but I think he's worth it. I think Jimmy Collins deserves it. Bug Holiday, I'll vote for him. I know why he's ranked so highly. It's because he's, I think, number 2 all-time in home runs, which is a pretty big deal right now, but is about to not be. Yeah. Like, in the very few future, 160 home runs isn't even going to get you, like, in the bottom third of the Hall of Fame. But it is what it is. Fielder Jones was a pretty darn good center fielder. But again, a little bit below the cut. I'm still going to vote for him because I think he's a damn fine ball player. But we're just going to run into that problem where we have a Hall of Fame full of ultra mega stars where they all have like 150 WAR. And everyone else is going to look like chumps by comparison. I really like Addie Joss. In real life, Addie Joss probably didn't deserve to make the Hall of Fame, but he died of tuberculosis, which nobody saw coming, and so he got a leg up. But here I think he probably is at least borderline on his own merits. Oh god, he's not. He just really isn't. You know what, I'll vote for him anyway, just because I like the player, but he also, I believe, threw the first perfect game in American League history. Or at least is one of the first. Joe Kelly, easy layup choice. The guy has 3,600 hits. You love to see it. What a player. Chappie McFarland. I mean, if I'm going to vote for Addie Joss, you're better than him. And I got 20 spots on my ballot, so I might as well make use of them. Ed McFarland is a pretty darn good catcher. And by Jaws, I think he probably deserves it, so I'll vote for him. Alright, friends, fellow Hall of Fame voters, John McGraw is a fucking Hall of Famer. The only reason he doesn't look like one to you idiots is because his greatest skill was drawing walks. But he got plenty of hits too, my guys. Put him in the Hall of Fame. He's deserved it for like 6 seasons in a row, and you just keep deciding that he's not good enough. He's very much good enough. Like, he's outstanding. Put him in the damn hall. I like your name, Doc, but other than that, meh. Honey Pates, you're definitely in as a catcher. That's a pretty amazing career. I've got a special place mark for Kip Selbach because he did play for Pittsburgh for so long. I'm just going to start looking from the bottom up. And I think that's it. I think that's all the people I'm prepared to vote for on this ballot. Walter Thornton, maybe. Oh, you're another one of these guys who got victimized by playing bad defense. Like, your bat is definitely Hall of Fame worthy, but you were so terrible in the outfield, and the game didn't realize that. I don't think I'm going to vote for that. I don't feel compelled to do it. Yeah, I'm good with this. I don't really see anybody else here that I'm staring at and saying this player must be in the Hall of Fame. Anyone with 300 wins? I don't think so. I don't think there's people anywhere near it. All right, submit that ballot. It is drafting time. There's Joe Sewell, Pie Trainer. We already knew about these guys, though. We knew about them from them being relieved at the end there. Bob Muesl was a very good player who played for the Yankees, but he had a very short career, so he was never recognized as the quite frankly outstanding player that he always was. He tends to get forgotten on those great Yankees teams because of guys like Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, but Bob Muesl was a pretty damn good player in his own right. Two other teams get a better pick than me. I'll try not to take that personally, but I definitely do take it personally. All players, please. Here we go. I'm not even going to look at most of these players because they're just not going to be here by the time I pick. So here we go. Babe Twombly, huh? I don't really need yet another outfielder, though. We have I Shot the Sheriff Blake. He looks decent, I suppose. He's very raw. We're looking for people that can improve our chances of the World Series this season. But the problem is those players just don't exist right now. That's the unfortunate part. None of these players are going to make an appreciable impact on our winning the World Series this year. And to be honest, I'm not going to be playing as the Red Sox after the season anyway. So I'm just going to let my scouting director do the entire draft. I trust him. I mean, you took the player I didn't want you to take, but I guess he still got some value off the bench, I suppose. One of my great weaknesses as a manager in this game, and it's something I need to get better at, is I need to start considering guys for the bench because they can hit, not just because they can field. It's always been kind of a black hole for me. It's like, if I see a player who could serve off the bench, but he's a terrible fielder, I won't put him on the roster. And so I'll take these awful hitters that have pretty good gloves, and I'll populate my bench with them. It's a weakness in my game, and I need to get better at it. Anyone I need to protect? Not really. I'll always take a look and see if there's anybody here that excites me. Because this is where I'm going to find players that could potentially play an important role. But no, it's mostly garbage. You know, I didn't check that draft to see if there's anyone who is like secretly like an amazing hitter, but randomly classed as a pitcher. I should have done that, but I didn't. Oh well. No, I do not want your garbage reliever for half of my roster. Like, come on, dude. Stupid Phillies. Are you doing this again? Are you literally offering me a bad reliever? No, you're offering me a bad starter now. Not for all of this. Like, you're basically asking for a freaking king's ransom for just one player. And at a 51 overall pitching rating, like, you'd be a fourth starter. You might not even make the rotation at all. So I'm definitely not going to give you all of that for Hogg, and I frankly don't think I don't think I want him at all. Come back to me maybe if someone gets injured, but for right now, it's not worth it to me. You're an amazing reliever, but again, you're a reliever. It's about goddamn time that John McGraw got elected in. Good. Bug Holiday made it. Joe Kelly was almost unanimous. You know what? Fair play to you, George Haddock. You're not a Hall of Famer. You didn't do anything particularly exciting. You freaking walked more people than you struck out. Whatever. Clearly you had the right friends and the right neighbors. And the right pals. But yeah, of all the inductions, his bothers me the most. Like, Heine Pates, the dude had 70 WAR as a catcher. The Philadelphia Phillies. Spent his entire career with the Phillies. Yeah, he did. What a guy. And I love how it remembers that I picked him, and so it decided to tell me about it. That actually makes me extremely happy. What are you offering me? A mediocre reliever and a boring second baseman. Game, just stop overvaluing your relievers. Like, no sensible person would ever trade a position player for a reliever. Like how you've like tripled my budget and it's just not going to matter because there's nothing that I want or that I can get. I will do that though. Okay. No huge surprises here. The usual pre-spring training drop for a few of them. Anybody I would like to give a spring training audition to? Maybe Twombly. Yeah, I think Twombly actually does deserve it. Because here's the thing, right? Ayers offers nothing. Like, he's an okay hitter who will never rank any higher than he does right now. Like, he's okay, right? I'm not sad that he exists, but he's also not very good. Ellerbee, can get some reps in spring training. Bench coach, do your thing. Honestly, I think this is fair. Wait, Ernie Shore? Are you ridiculous? No, Ray Collins. You can rejuggle the bullpen if you want to, but no, I am not letting Ernie Shore be a freaking starter. Yeah, Ray Collins is a starter, my guy. Yeah. One of the things I find really interesting about this particular season is that I know we didn't really make any big changes in the offseason, but I also don't see what we could have done, really. And I think there's every expectation that we'll still have a good chance at returning to the playoffs. Like, it's certainly not guaranteed. We're still in the same season as in the same division as the Yankees, and as long as the Yankees keep putting up their redonkulous numbers, it is what it is. I don't care if Heine Zimmerman misses 4 days. I just don't want him to miss a big part of the season. All right, spring training is done. How long is Barnes out? He's out for 3 weeks. That's fine. Oldham, off you go. Yeah, Pete Wilson has really fallen off the table, kind of. Are you losing velocity? You sure are. Oh, yeah. Pete, someone else can deal with your shit. I don't want to. I have 13 pitchers. I'd like to carry no more than 10. McHale. I'm going to send Barnes to the minors. Game, don't tell me what to do. I want him in the freaking minors. Fine. I wonder if Overall would take a demotion. He doesn't, and that's fair. He's still got a pretty important role to play. I guess Ritter. Let's let him pitch more in the minors. Alright, let's build the staff. I'm comfortable with going Sakat, Collins, Shocker, Ewell. Arguably, Ewell could be the ace, but I want to let him pitch his way into that role. But he's not far from it already. And then just give me the relievers, please. Overall, you're going to be my emergency starter, long man. Hawk is still the stopper, I guess. He's still the best reliever on the team. And I definitely want Cooper to be a long man emergency starter, the reverse of Overall. And then everyone else is just going to be a middle reliever. Like, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because the number one guy is not really... anyone besides, like, Hawk is going to be used more than, like, 10, 15 innings. You are not permitted to hit. Not as a two-way player. I don't want you getting pulled off the bench. I still have 20 players, though, so I'm still going to have to make a lot of moves to get down to 25. You know what, Reesberg? You're a decent bat, and you play several positions fairly well. I think you can stay on the roster this year. Driscoll, you're garbage. I'm going to trade Pages. If someone else wants to give this guy a shot, they can do it. But I literally have no use for him anymore. I'll take a look and see if I can get like a mega deal, but I probably can't. Sure, I'll take Redkowski. Like, this guy's a borderline starter, if not for his other pitch being weak as shit. So, yeah. Give him to me. And I don't think he has to go on the roster. He doesn't. Brilliant. Ayers, no. Like, I believe a little bit more in your offense than other teams do, but... I mean, you really have nothing left to prove in the minors, though. That's the other thing. If I don't put you on the Major League roster, I might as well just trade you. Monosky, Rice, and Smith. Gilhooey. But the thing is that Twombly is an even better version of Ayers. Right? Like, he's an incredibly valuable bat off the bench that I wouldn't mind even being a starter. I think Ayers goes back to the minors. Sorry, buddy. Still got to get rid of 2 players. I'm going to go ahead and put Twombly on the 40-man, as I should. No, I am going to do the smart thing for once. I'm going to look at a guy like fucking Kid Butler, who can't hit his way out of a wet paper bag, and I'm going to say, no thank you. And I'm going to take the very best player I could get for you. Which is apparently not very much. So if that's the case, I'm just going to go ahead and just waive you. If somebody else claims you, they claim you. I like having one good glove man, especially to back up, what's his face? Scott if he gets hurt. So then it comes down between Orr and Ellerbee. And Ellerbee would only be able to back up at third. And Orr is the better glove man, but he also just can't hit. Like, it is not in his constitution that he can hit. So we're going to try to go for a little bit more thump off the bench this season. And we're going to go ahead and promote Ellerbee. And then we're going to advance up to opening day. And I guarantee some of those guys are going to get claimed. Everyone wants the old ham. Well, if y'all get trichinosis, that's your own fault. No big shocks here. Twombly improved. That's pretty nice. But yeah, this is fine. Oh, damn. Look at Lefty O'Doul, the number 2 prospect in the majors. Very nice. Do I have my ringer on? I do not. I probably should put it on. I'll just leave it on vibrate. That way, when I inevitably get the 5,000 spam calls I get every day, I can ignore them more effectively. Don't care. All right. So, we do have the number 2 prospect in the majors, which is fun. It's extremely fun. But we really need to go ahead and sit down and work on improving the lineup and what we can do to make things work best there. I am thinking how I want to handle the Ray Schalk situation. Because Mr. Schalk is a great on-base guy when he's hitting well. If he's not, he's going to hold us back. And that's why I'm really loath to give him that important a role on this offense. Let's go ahead and nuke all of this. And let's go to batting ratings. So, I'm very tempted by McInnes as the number 3 and Zimmerman as the number 4. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. McInnes hits 3rd, Zimmerman hits 4th. And now, I agree that Minosky makes an excellent leadoff man. He's the best combination of on base and contact on the team. Easy choice. Jack Smith is going to hit 5th. I like having that extra bit of oomph behind Zimmerman. I think that's going to be extremely important. Now the question is who bats second. There's no reason it can't be Sam Rice, and I don't think of any reason it shouldn't be Sam Rice, so it's Sam Rice. Which means Charlie Deal is going to be the 6th hitter. Schalk bats 7th, and again, he's going to get pissy with me, but he's going to just have to deal with it, and then Scott bats 8th. This is the lineup I want. I think this is the lineup that gives us the best chance to succeed. I truly believe that. Although Sam has more power than Stuffy, and Sam is also almost as good a contact hitter. I'm wondering if we do... That is an interesting question now. Like, the difference between Sam Rice and McInnes isn't significant, except for the raw power. Rice is by far the better power hitter. So I think we will go ahead and make Sam Rice the number 3 hitter. Which should make McInnes upset at all. McInnes should be like, great, I'm hitting 2nd. That's perfect. I'm of 2 minds of this, and I might switch them later on. You know what I'll probably do? I'll probably make McInnes the number 3 hitter against lefties. But I'm not really that fussed either way. Give me a depth chart. This seems great. I really feel bad about Gil Hooley. I know I've mentioned this several times, but he's such a good overall player that's just never gotten the regular reps that he wants. And he may never get those reps because, unfortunately for him, I have players that are just like 8% better than him. But he's an amazing bat off the bench. We've got a loaded bench now, I would argue. I'm very pleased by what we've done to improve our depth this offseason. And really, it's just the 2 draft picks, right? It's really just Twombly and it's Ellerbee. It's just promoting good rookies who may not start every day, but could have a bigger or smaller role on the team depending on how things go. I think this is a fine lineup, and I think we have better than average chances to do some damage this season. You can all go to AAA. You jerks don't want to be demoted? Fine, you're cut. I don't even care, bro. Somebody else can sign your stupid asses. Oh, we're not sure what's going on with Jesse. That's fine. That's less fine. I don't like that. Okay. So with that said, overall slides back into the rotation as the fourth starter. That's incredibly irritating, but I will survive, I suppose. That does make me extremely sad, though. Oh, I do need to call up somebody else for the roster. That's just a dick move, right? That's a major dick move. Man, oh, by the way, your starting pitcher that just blew his back out for the entire season, he's the best in the majors. That's not nice. That is not nice. It feels like you're taunting me. I do need to call up another pitcher. Let's make it Kelsey. You can do middle relief. How are things going this season? Offensively, we're pretty good except for Shulk. We don't have much power is the issue. And we're getting into the era in history where that's going to start mattering a lot more. Now, I'm sure that part of this, we just need a bit of more luck than we've had so far. I'm not too worried about how we'll perform. But we could really use, like, a Mega Thunder Bat. If one was available. But the problem is I don't think there is one. I'll look at batters, please. And there is no Mega Thunder Bat available, sadly. Oh well. Overall, you aren't allowed to get injured. I thought I made that clear to you. Injuries are not possible for you. Ritter's next man up. Cooper, you're going to be the new fourth starter. I'm going to quickly change Barnes to emergency starter, long reliever. And Fillingham to long reliever, emergency starter. And then Ritter's going to be middle relief. Yeah, the problem is that Babe Ruth guy, right? Because everyone else has a mega home run guy and I don't. Like, I've got some decent hitters, but I don't have the mega hitter. Achoo! Oh, sorry. And of course, Zach Wheat immediately has an amazing season. God damn it, Zach. Oh well. And what did I get for Zach Wheat? Wasn't that Ray Collins, though? No, it was Pete Wilson. Who's not even in the majors anymore. You know what? I did say I thought this trade could blow up in our faces. So far, it definitely is. But you know what? You win some, you lose some. I'm not too sad about that. You have made me an intriguing offer. Because you're definitely better than Cooper. There's no question about that. And I'm not giving up a huge amount. Like, yes, I know how excited I was to get Lefty O'Doul when I did. And I still think there's tons of chances for him to be amazing, but I'm not going to be playing as the Red Sox after the season anyway. I'm wondering if I can keep O'Doul and give you Cooper. But yeah, this is a straight up upgrade. And I'm not giving up a huge amount. I do like Riesberg, though. I'd actually rather give you Ellerbee. Because Riesberg is a lot more versatile. Yeah, you can have Ellerbee. I do need to call up another infielder. I mean, I guess Cliff Brady is a good second baseman. That's about the nicest thing I can say about the guy, though. Hell, I might as well call Butler back up. At least Butler's amazing at multiple positions. Yeah, that's fine. Overall, I'm going to put you on a rehab assignment. For something like this happening. God damn it, game. So overall gets called back up. I need another pitcher. I guess it's your time, Kenny. Oh, it's not, is it? Oh, yeah, it is, because... Yeah. That's right. I mean, I'm going to trust overall if I have to trust any other backup starter. We'll just see how he does. And look who finally decided to start hitting again. Wow, that trade also bit me on the ass. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. Lefty O'Doul is the #1 prospect in the majors now, which is fun. Yeah, I don't think we've got a great chance of being... there you go. I'll even re-sign the pitching coach, even though I'm not going to stay just to make sure that Boston's got good leadership. I mean, we're not catching up to St. Louis. This is a, frankly, ridiculous league that they've built up. I mean, they've got Heine Mueller, Ross Youngs, and Babe Ruth. That's, frankly, redonkulous, and I'm not going to be able to catch up to that. I'm just not. Eddie Sakat, Charlie Deal, Jack Smith. That's it. Yeah, that Babe Ruth guy's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I don't see us catching up to St. Louis. I don't even know that we can acquire one or more players to do it. I mean, maybe that comes from Lefty O'Doul. Like, maybe Lefty O'Doul just keeps improving and I can call him up, but I doubt it. God damn it, Jack Smith. I mean, I can afford a loss to him better than I can just about any other player. Because I can just slot in Gilhooey. And we don't miss much. That's fine. But, man, you're not making it easier for me, game. Now remember, the real trading deadline is in fact, not that, is actually roster expansion day. Because otherwise I can't have him on the playoff roster. But then again, I mean, if I don't improve the team, I'm not going to make the playoffs anyway. But I don't even know what's out on the market for me to make up a 14 bloody game difference. Like, short of randomly jumping over to the National League, it's not happening. It's just not happening. Barring, like, a catastrophic series of injuries. Like, look how silly this is. They have 2 players in the top batting average. They've got Babe freaking Ruth. The number 1 guy by WAR is Babe Ruth, but Dave Bancroft is right there. This is just an offense for the ages. I just don't think we can compete with that. Like, holy shit, this offense is ridiculous. And yeah, the pitching staff isn't anything exciting, but... Wait, really? Lots of people are actually using 5-man rotations now. I think that's silly. I don't see why you do that, but whatever. But yeah, I genuinely just think that we're just gonna... I think that we're just done. Through no fault of our own. You know what, game? You don't have to make it ridiculous by injuring all of my players, though. That can stop any time now. You know what? I'm just going to put this on Do Not Disturb. I'm very much checked out right now in terms of actually being able to do anything. Because it's not going to matter, right? It's just not going to matter. We're already super far back. And we're still in a mode where if we don't get... Yeah, like, oh boy, you're going to give me Jack Ferry, a mediocre reliever, the one thing this team desperately needs more of. I'm not even mad. It's disappointing, to be sure, but we got caught by a super team. And it's no better or no worse than every other season where we faced. Look, Babe Ruth just hit 44 home runs this season. 45. Goose Goslin. Lou Fonseca. Kiki Collier. That's interesting. I mean, did we make the playoffs? Of course we didn't. But the freaking Browns almost won 100 games. So, I'm not, like I said, I'm not mad. Let's take a quick look at how our team did. Because I'm curious. Jack Smith did it again. What an outstanding season for him. Sam Rice was good. Heine Zimmerman had one of the worst seasons of his career, and the timing could not have been worse for us. Schalk is increasingly flirting with replacement level. Monosky was fine. McInnes was fine. We're a team built for the dead ball era, and there just isn't a dead ball era anymore. Not with Babe Ruth and other teams of his, other players of his ilk, just destroying everything. If we go by pitching stats, Boardwalk Brown had a great season. Eddie Saccott was brilliant. Urban Shocker was excellent. Ray Collins was quite good. I see the game stupidly made Ernie Shore a starter. I don't know why the game obsesses like that about certain pitchers. But whatever. And I also noticed that they did go for a 5-man rotation. Which seems a bit silly to me, but whatever. It's not the way I would run a team, but I also very deliberately threw in the towel. Hey, it's an all St. Louis World Series. That's fun. That was closer than it should have been. Like, the Browns should have ruffle stomped that other team, but whatever. Joe Cassidy is going to retire. Good for him. All right. So, how is Major League history impacted? Well, we can see that the Cleveland Forest Cities won the first overall championship. But if we look at teams, the Phillies are the number 1 team of all time. They are basically the Yankees, as are the Cubs, and the different divisions. Although the Giants do have more World Series, the Cubs have been the better team. Whatever. Only 3 titles for the Yankees because they kept making the playoffs and getting beat by the National League. If you look at all-time leaderboards, George Sisler, batting average, makes sense. Billy Hamilton on base, Sam Thompson slugging, that's not going to last long. OPS is Babe Ruth. Joe Kelly's got a number of interesting numbers. Ed De La Hanty is your number 1 hit leader. Joe Kelly right behind him. Ty Cobb is nowhere near the top, which is pretty interesting to me. Remember, Ty Cobb was the hit king. He was the only player in Major League history with 4,000 hits until Pete Rose. How is John J. Anderson under the Hall of Fame? Has he just not been eligible yet? Yeah, he'd actually be eligible this offseason for the first time. He'll get in. Let's look at the home run leaderboard. Babe Ruth is already 19th. Oh my lord. Yikes. That Babe Ruth guy, he's pretty good at hitting home runs. Pitching-wise, the closest thing to a Cy Young we have is Mike Smith. Which is pretty funny, right? That's not something you would expect, but here we are. We have multiple 400 game winners, which I don't believe is true for the real major leagues, but... Yeah, Mike E. Smith, who in real life had an incredibly short career, is just like, nah, fam, I'm the best pitcher in Major League history, suck it. He is our Cy Young. He's just Mike Smith instead of Cy Young. Good old Toad Ramsey is our strikeout leader. He's another one who had a short career. Yeah. How about that? Look at Doc White, though. Doc White has an excellent chance to make the Hall of Fame as well. That was probably one of my very best picks. I mean, Doc White is who carried Pittsburgh to so many championships. He was the Jack Leiter of this era. Walter Johnson looks incredible. He's only going to get better, by the way. Spoiler alert. Good times. Yeah, it's fun to see the mix of, yes, that was an amazing player in real life, to, really? That guy? Like, Montgomery Ward was a Hall of Famer, too. But he was a mixture of hitting and pitching, and he was brilliant at both of them. Like, he's worth 80 wins because he was so good at both things. And he was a manager, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if we look at WAR... George Mullins still pitching. That makes sense. Yeah, I find it interesting that the offensive leaderboard here is sort of similar to how it was in real life. I mean, George Davis was good. And he made the Hall of Fame in real life, too. But he wasn't, like, transcendent. This is pure WAR, right? This is just because he was a great defensive shortstop in era when every other shortstop sucked. He was the Babe Ruth with the glove. And that's why his career looks so phenomenal. I honestly can't tell you that that's going to be actually accurate. I genuinely don't think that Tinker's career is going to hold up like that. Although it was a Hall of Famer in real life as well. We have Ty Cobb, obviously. Honus Wagner, yep. That seems pretty good. Ty Cobb, Tris Beaker, Nap Lajoie, all very common. Kid Elberfield, I don't have any clue who this guy is. I wonder if he's one of the millions of, like, really good dead ball era players that just never made the Hall because it never got the attention. Like, he was fine, obviously. But, I mean, he didn't even get 1,300 hits in real life. He just played really well when he did play, but... That's kind of a shocker. I don't remember Jack Clemens being that good in real life. Yeah, it's just kind of mediocre in real life. But for some reason here, he really took off, and he's the best catcher of all time for us. Cap Anson, piece of garbage human being, but amazing baseball player. I don't know if Fred Dunlop was very good in real life. Not really. But yeah, this is basically like, these are the players that were good at the time, and also a few others. Like Johnny Evers, Hall of Fame, made the Hall of Fame. He's actually the weakest of the three in real life. Between Chance Evers and Tinker, Evers was actually the worst of the three. But here, he's equally phenomenal compared to the others. Mostly because War's giving a huge position adjustment for the same reason I did it for Tinker. Like, I'm sorry. There is no version of the Hall of Fame in real life where Joe Tinker even cracks the top 5 for all-time shortstops. Probably not even the top 10. Let me think about it. Purely based on shortstops. Honus Wagner, Alex Rodriguez. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Jeter. Fine. I'll do it with great reluctance. Ozzie Smith defensively. Definitely better than Joe Tinker, in my opinion. Cal Ripken, depends if you see him more as a shortstop or a third baseman. I'm trying to think of all-time amazing shortstops, and my brain is just not functioning right now. Please don't take it personally if I forgot one of your favorite shortstops. I'm just not... My brain is just not working right now. I can't think of other, like, truly outstanding shortstops other than the ones I just named. But I do know that Joe Tinker doesn't even crack the top 10 modern day. But anyway, the last thing we're going to do this episode is we're going to go ahead and pick our new team. And it's a difficult choice for me. I would not at all mind getting back into the National League. But here's the problem. I want to take a team that's been historically bad, not just a team who's bad for 1 year. So, right now, the 4 worst teams, because I don't want to pick any word lower than the top 5. So the 5 worst teams were the Braves, Giants, Senators, Yankees, and Tigers. So let's look at those teams. Historically, and let's see who the worst of those has been. I mean, the Braves have been pretty terrible. They do have 2 World Series, but I'm pretty sure they were both a very long time ago. They were. And I kind of like the poetry of going from one Boston team to the other. And they've got possibly the number 1 pick. Do we go from Boston to Boston? I'm not sure. Like, I'm going to tell you point blank, not the Giants. That's not happening. The Giants have been too good for too long. They're just having a bit of a tiff. As a longtime American League fan, I find it painful, the idea of playing as the Yankees. So I'm just going to say no to that. So the Yankees and Giants are out, which leaves the Tigers, the Braves, and who else? The Senators. How have the Senators been? The Senators only have 1 world title. But they're also a tiny bit better. I mean, I could pick the Tigers. But I'm not gonna. Because, friends, I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to find it impossible to compete with the Browns in the AL. I just don't see that happening. So I think we're going to go from Boston to Boston. I think that provides us with the most interesting storyline. It's kind of a fun little coincidence. And most importantly, it still gives a chance to make a truly outstanding impact in baseball history. So that's precisely what I'm going to do. I'm going to quit my current job, and I'm going to see if the Boston Braves will hire me. Why is this always so hard for me to figure out? Here you go, available jobs. Boom. So there we have it. We go from Boston to Boston. From multi-time World Series champions to a team whose greatest seasons are pretty far in the past. And if the AL is going to be dominated by the St. Louis Browns for the foreseeable future, I'm thinking we're going to have an interesting time with it. Now, this is not going to be like any other team we've ever managed because these players, apart from Walter Johnson, are kind of trash. Like, we do have Pie Trainer, though, so I guess that's fun. But yeah, this is going to make for a very interesting challenge going over to OTP 22 because this isn't like when we took over Boston Red Sox, where we were like not far off from the top level. We have very little to build around. So this is going to be a slow rebuild. Like, we've got some decent players, don't get me wrong. Oh god, Manlove? Yikes. That's a name. I guess Hank Severeid is okay. You have Joe Gedeon. Meh. We have two different shortstops who are only good because of their defense and not because they can hit their way out of a paper bag. There's a lot of mediocrity here. So much mediocrity. And I still think I'm willing to let Pie Trainer improve in the minors before I call him up. But we have very little to build around. And our very best pitcher, Walter Johnson, is also 32. So we're going to be making a lot of trades. And just trying to get this team right to a chance where it can be competitive. Now, we do have a fair chance of the number one overall pick. I don't know if it's actually going to go to me or if it's going to go to what's-his-face. But, I mean, Goose Goslin is a pretty fucking terrific building block for your team. So is Bing Miller. I think you're another one of these players that had... No, you actually had a pretty decent career. Johnny Gooch. I mean, that name is ridiculous, but... Kiki Collier's quite down far on the list, huh? Yeah, I hope we get the first overall pick and that I can take Goose Goslin, though. I think this is the player that gives us the best building block to start getting back to a level where the Boston Braves can compete for World Series titles. But that's going to be it for this episode and this part of the series, my friends. Just to avoid people getting confused. Oh, can we see future draft pools? No, I didn't think we could. Just to avoid people getting confused, I'm going to start the series over with OTP 22. Just in case I get new viewers to the channel who are like, holy crap, OTP 22 seems super awesome. And I'm going to tell them it is super awesome. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to play as the Boston Braves. We're going to see how that goes. And I'm going to tell you in advance. If the Tigers do not win a World Series by 1930, I guess the 1931 season technically to give me the full 10 seasons, I will switch and play as the Tigers. Even if the St. Louis Browns are still a ridiculous juggernaut. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, this has been Indian, and I bid you good day.